My name is Roger Pollard. I just currently wrote my third book, but it's really the first one. Like, it's my heart. It's the book that everybody should read. I wanted to um, give everybody kind of a foundational value system, in terms of motivation. What should be important to you? How should it be important? How should you go about thinking about certain things? And it's a journey. And I like I said, I think it could be powerful, but I'll let you tell me. All right. Give me information. So
It was such a good read. Like I
okay.
can't even I
Now
can't even tell you.
that's like I was nervous about this, right?
Really?
Oh man.
Oh
I'm nervous about the book. I had no plans
no. Yeah.
on I was like, look, because I'm not writing it for money. I'm not writing it
Right.
for sales. It's literally, I got my two books for my kids, right? And fine,
Yeah.
right? And so then the deer was like, oh well, this that, and I was like, well, why not? Who
Yeah.
cares? And then
Mm.
that's when I was kind of like, well, what is some reason? And they're like, no, it's not really, or you're wrong, right? Or
Right.
with some of what you're saying, and it's just like everybody's wrong, right?
Right.
Like we're
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna look at it that way,
a hundred
everybody's
percent, a
wrong.
hundred percent.
You
Now,
know, and the
can
way
it?
I see it is like you look around all these books and you see people writing,
Mm-hmm.
and what's that saying? Like there are people doing what you want to do, and they may be less
A
qualified
hundred
to
percent.
do it, and yet they do it. So
Yeah.
why
So
shouldn't
why
you?
not? Right? Like why not? And that's what, like,
Right.
my message for people who, if you have to do it, why
Right.
not? Like we're in an age where you can literally do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be a carpenter, you all right, spend 30 minutes every day looking up videos about carpentry. Like, this is the first time in human history where we can transmit information
Mhm.
other than in writing, right? It can be a video, it can be a book. So you drive to work every day. What do you listen to, right? If
Right.
you really want to be a carpenter, listen to carpentry videos,
Yeah.
right? And then then you get into that world, and then you
Yeah.
educate yourself, and then you start little projects here or there. If it's something that you want to do, then
Right.
make the time,
I
right?
feel like if you look at history, humanity has never had it this easy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
a million. We
we have it all.
if we if you compare someone today with someone who was born in the 1500s, we get more information in one day than they did in their lifetime,
Right.
right? So you have that potential, and I tell my students, I'm like, look, we have the Bill of Rights, but
Mhm.
you've got to understand that Amendment Zero is the freedom of choice. And because you haven't identified with that, you're choosing to fail a lot. And you're putting, when you just put things on, or you
Wow,
put
that's
a little,
powerful. Yeah.
like someone can hold a gun to your head, you still have a choice. Now, you don't like the choices, but
Yeah.
you always have a choice. And
Yeah.
our choice right now is comfort, right?
Right.
Everything is about being more comfortable. Well, when do if you want to change your body, you ain't gonna do it in the bed, right?
Right.
You've got to go in the weight room. And if you're like, oh, la 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 in the weight room, you're not changing anything.
Yeah.
So these things, So I think, hell, it was yesterday. I was like, name me some superheroes. Okay, Batman, you have the Joker.
Right.
Superman, you have Lex Luthor. You can. Oh, the Incredible Hulk doesn't. The Incredible Hulk's enemy is himself,
Mhm.
right?
Even worse.
Even right,
It's even worse.
and I was like, we these movies and stories are where that's why I put the archetypical thoughts in there, right?
Yeah.
It's because the journey of the Incredible Hulk through the Avengers, where that the last one, he he's in the Hulk body with Bruce Banner's mind. I was like, that's your journey. You need to integrate yourself so that you're one person, right?
Right.
The ancient Greeks, their concepts of gods uh, was, hey, look, when you're mad, you're someone else. When I see that person mad, when I see that person mad, so the mad exists throughout beings, and I saw it 10 years ago. I see it now. It's throughout all time. So
Right.
all of the different factors of yourself, like integrate all of your parts, become one. So I try and talk about those things with them
Yeah.
because I think the realest thing we have is story, right?
Yes.
It's the stories are they're the realest things we have, right?
Right.
And it's I think we represent that. Like you look at all ancient civilizations, we build these massive monuments where everybody can gather and look at things,
Yeah.
unfolding before our eyes, right? Like multiple amount of parts. It's a
Right.
dance. It's in harmony,
Yeah.
um, and you know, extract the lessons and the blessings from the story itself, and then you're really onto something.
Right.
So
That's it's a lot to think about.
yeah,
It's amazing.
I drive my wife crazy.
Oh, I'm sure, in a good way,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's yeah, and it's true. It's all
No,
true.
it's been, and
It's all
that's
true.
that's what I'm trying to. It's really what
Yeah.
I'm trying. That's what I'm chasing. Like
Right.
the ultimate truth. True and truth are different. Like true,
Right.
something that's true can be true. Well, hell, 100 years ago, right? It was true that because of the color of my skin, I was the lesser of a person,
Mhm.
right? But it wasn't truth, right? Truth withstands time. So all of the things that may have been true at certain periods of time in our evolution, and
Right.
we've written them down. Study history, right? Study the objective side of history, not just one side. Um, and we are like everything that we have here didn't always exist. These are
Mhm.
people's. This is who we are, right? Now I started book 3. This is um like when you look around, this is us, right? This is
Yeah.
someone thought of this, had the courage to bring it out and
Right.
and move forward with it. Could have been laughed at, could have been pointed at, like what the hell, but no, had the courage to,
Mhm.
hey, look, let's make this table. Hey,
Yeah.
look, let's make this chair, right? And um, I think that's the realest truth that
Right.
there is, and will it withstand all of time? Who
Yeah.
knows? Who
Yeah.
knows?
Is it gonna be universal truth?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's the
That's
big one.
that is the big one, and
Yeah.
that's what we don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea. You can think one thing and you find out one thing, and everything totally flips.
Right.
Just like that.
Perspective has changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. We as people, everybody says, I don't like the work. I don't like my job. But we get the most satisfaction out of our job
Yeah.
because our job is continually pushing us, right? How do
Right.
you find yourself in flow? When you're 4% out of your comfort zone, and when your actions, when your talent meets your limitations, right? Like
Right.
where my limit is, and now when I'm pushing
You keep
myself right here.
pushing. Yeah.
Now, if your limitation is all the way up here, now you feel depressed and because it's so far, so it's like
Yeah.
just above what I can really do. And then, yeah, I mean, we all do it when you're writing something and you're
Right.
reading something, and it's like, and you have those epiphanies, you have those
Yeah.
aha moments, and it's good, but you
Right.
you only get that if you're striving towards something,
Right.
So if you're staying at home not doing anything, you're not striving towards something.
Yeah.
So I mess with the students. This was the first few weeks of school. Like if you look at us as human beings, like we're sitting pretty close, but you can tell the difference between where someone is looking from 25 feet away, whether they're looking
Yes.
at your eyes or whether they're at your shoulder. Like minute differences, and those differences mean that I see everything,
Mhm.
right? But I only really see what I focus on.
Right.
What are you focused on? What are your goals? All right, like my students ask, what are your goals? What do you want?
Yeah. And they don't know.
No, no, no. Well,
They
then
don't
of
even know where
course,
to start.
100%. And it's
Yeah.
like, look, man, I don't care that you don't know where to start. It doesn't matter that you
Pick
don't
a
know where to start.
point
Pick a point
and start
and start
there.
there, because
Yeah.
within that point lies universal truths that,
Yeah.
all right, well, I want to be a great football player. All right, well, you got to eat a certain way, you've got to work out a certain way, you've got to do it. There's a certain intention, there's a certain detail,
Right.
detail orientation towards what you're doing. Well, okay, well, you don't make it in football, but these things that helped you get there, you can translate to
Right.
writing. All right, come up with a plan. Be detailed about, be really specific about what I want to do and how I want to portray it. You know, I want it to be, I want it to be thick with just, oh, damn, that quote. Oh man, oh wow, all
Yeah.
right, and then move forward.
Right.
Do,
And all of a sudden, everything starts coming
and then it
together.
just 100%.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
So
So that's what happened to me. And then I was like, I need to go back to what I like, to my roots,
yeah,
with, books and writing, which is why I started teaching in the first place.
right,
I don't have a degree in education. My
right.
degree's in literature. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So
so I mean
then,
that's and you can take some of the things that you took out of education
for
and
sure.
and
Yeah.
and
I love it. I still miss the
oh yeah,
classroom.
oh yeah.
I would never change it.
Mm.
But I don't think.
But I think the biggest problem with education is you cannot judge individual teachers.
For sure.
You just can't.
Yeah.
If you're going to tell me that you're going to judge me off of the test scores of a kid,
Mm-hmm.
then let me pick my kids.
Yeah.
All right.
I always said, it seems to me this is the only profession where all the variables are out of my control,
Right.
yet I am responsible for every single one of them.
It's a false,
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
a false illusion.
if you're a chef,
Yeah.
you got all your ingredients. You
Yep.
got your sous chef that you picked. You
Mhm.
got like your menu,
Uh-huh.
everything. If the shit hits the fan,
Now it's on.
somehow you know what happened.
Right.
But when you have a kid, like 23 kids,
Yeah.
the mom, I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
The poor kid hasn't had breakfast. How the hell am I going to tell this kid he needs to care about Shakespeare
Well,
when he's like, I'm hungry?
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Well, that's why. Well, there are too many personal responsibilities that are being put on to systems.
Yeah.
Like we're the smallest way that a society can look at its people is through the family. And I think what we're seeing is the breakdown of the family structure.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out. It just is
For
what it
sure.
is. Like I ask my kids, how many of you guys live at home with mom and dad?
It's heartbreaking.
It's like 2 or 3.
It's
And
heartbreaking.
then even the bigger one is religion. We started looking at, like, in the beginning of the year, and this was what brought me to that second book, was if you look at the church was the original school, it was the original restaurant, it was the original hotel, it was the original police department, it was the original hospital.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not from a religious standpoint.
No, it's historical. Yeah. You can't deny it.
Well, what was the church built off of? It was built off of obedience, poverty, and chastity. So, what 3 things? Okay, well, if you pay attention to the people who are in charge, stop running around here opening up your legs and trying to stick a little wee-wee in everything, and poverty, in terms of stop freaking complaining.
Yeah.
Right? Feel like you're at the lowest rung and love that you're at the lowest rung. Get into the seat and attack that burden that you have, whatever it is.
Right.
The goal is the only thing that matters. So I was like, well, if those things made that, well, what 3 things do we need to focus on as individuals? And that's where I came up with the, like, driving to work. It just hit me.
Yeah.
So
that if you don't give yourself those spaces and those moments to think, if you're always like being soothed by something, those moments don't happen.
Constantly looking at your phone drops your IQ 15 points. It drops your IQ higher or to a greater factor than if you're running around smoking weed and doing drugs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And every single kid,
all the time.
They can't.
All the time.
And we've got to, because how many days have you left home without your phone.
Oh my God. No, I
Yeah.
have a better one for you. The other day I was on the phone talking to my sister and I'm like, oh my God, I lost my phone. I can't find Manuel's gonna kill me. I lost it. And she's like, how do you think you're talking to me? I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
oh,
you're on autopilot.
like
Yeah,
this thing has become such
it
an
is. It is.
extension
It
of
is
me.
an extension of all of us,
Yeah.
and um, I think this is under discipline. Right, do the things you know you shouldn't, and don't do the things you know you shouldn't. In relationships, we have a relationship with and every relationship is reciprocal.
Yeah.
We have a relationship with this tea. We have a relationship with this microphone, with the cameras, with everything, and
With ourselves.
and what's the relationship with yourself?
Yeah.
And I think
It's the big one.
the number one relationship with ourselves is we lie.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean untruths. I mean, you know, you give limiting ideas exercise. Right?
And you manipulate that truth to make you feel better.
Feel better.
You know, because
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that bad.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I made that decision not because I was being an idiot, but because, you know, these circumstances. Yeah.
We need to be real.
Yeah. Right. I tell the girls that all the time. Like,
be real and honest.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
To yourself. That's so dangerous.
Yes.
So dangerous.
You start to believe your own lies, and then
it becomes it snowballs.
I
was gonna ask you, is that you in the picture?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was like, damn, that's cool. If you did that.
I want to start traveling and things. My wife wants to go camping.
Oh really?
Like, oh god.
Like for real
like
camping?
For real. Well, she's from Cali. She's from California.
Shit.
Actually, Washington State.
Okay.
And
she knows
like,
how.
I'm like, well, bro.
Oh my god!
What do you do
funny.
if there's a bear? Oh, the bears, they didn't ever harm you. Well, what if he's having a bad day? I'm fine. I'm good. And I'm using my daughter as an excuse. She's allergic to grass and bugs. And
That's
so I'm
so
like, no,
funny.
she can't.
So my husband bought a tent because he's like, we're gonna go camping, and I keep like trying to push it off. Maybe next month. It's too hot right now.
Yeah.
Like we should wait. Just the thought that there's no bathroom.
Yeah, no,
like,
I mean,
I'm like, no, I can't. So in the summer, our friends have an RV, and they talked us into going camping with them, but it was in that Disney campground.
Okay.
So it's like,
so you're still in civilization.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't the real deal. Like, I can handle this. You know, there's like, we had electricity, we had Netflix. We had AC. Right. There's a bathroom with running water.
Yeah.
It's
that's good enough for me.
It's all right. Like I got it. I ripped the Band-Aid off. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what we might do that. I might do an RV.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
that was fun.
Still like, because I think we as adults and families, and I told the kids this on Thursday because they've started playing the alma mater in the mornings.
Okay.
So I was telling them that's supposed to be the embodiment of something. And like, what is that something? I tell them, I tell everybody, like, go into the gym and look at all of the state championships in the 50s and 60s that took place at Coral Gables. And it's the embodiment of being at a football game, right? And the team is down by 21 points, and you're like, oh, you're going to leave or you're not. And then you end up not leaving. And the start of the next half, your team runs back to kick off and everybody's going crazy, but they're still like, oh, well, this team, whatever. And then another big play happens, and then there's momentum, and then the band is playing, and then you're in an environment,
right.
Same thing like a basketball game, we're down by 1 and it's been a back and forth game, and a kid that that's in your class goes to the hoop and he's about to lay it up and it gets blocked, but then someone gets it at a 3-point range. And then how do you express? You can't put that into words.
You have to be there.
Yes, 100%.
You have to be there.
And get off your phone and be a part of an activity. And I think not enough of our kids are doing that. I'm not saying play football.
Right. We just be part of something.
We have a Wizards club, right? Like where they play board games. If that's your thing, go. But
Yeah.
spend some time away from this, and I think family, like we started going on little family walks,
Mm-hmm.
with the kids, or just have a game, turn the TV off,
Yeah.
put the phones away, and play Uno,
I know. Simple
or
things like
simple,
that.
simple
Yeah.
things where we
Your
are.
kids don't have phones?
Oh yeah,
They have
they
phones?
have phones.
How did you guys navigate that?
Um, they what do they do? They really only use it for like YouTube, and then
Mm-hmm.
like I can call on using I forgot what one of these
So they
programs.
can't call whoever.
This is like all fresh. um, there's I think Facebook Messenger that's for kids, so
Oh, I
if
see.
they for their classmates, so it's like it's really good with working with friends,
Right.
so, and then also we've been in the technology age for the last, really, not this past year but the year before in
Yeah.
COVID, where they're separated from people. At least I'm like, I don't know what only children were doing, but
I
at least they
know.
had each other. But now it's like every night they have certain friends that they kind of talk to and they can have a
Yeah.
relationship with, because we know that's it's almost mandatory for human beings to have
Right.
relationships, and those strong relationships when they're
Those
young with
bonds.
people, um, it pays its dividends.
For
So
sure.
it's really for that, and then of course that's really another reason why I started doing TikToks, because they love to be on TikTok, and now they see a video with them in it, and so
That's awesome.
and now listen to what Daddy's saying, which we all get on it, and then we're looking at stupidity,
I know.
half the time. But
Dog videos
oh yeah,
all day.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll experiment with it, and uh, I'll drop some really deep information, and then I'll put a video out there of me dancing or doing something stupid, and that one gets all the hits,
Of
So
course.
um, we I spent like 30 minutes on one video one day, and then my son he made a video, and it I don't know, it spoke to me, right? And we uploaded it on my wife's, and it had like 4,000, 5,000 views, and I was
Aww.
like, what is this? And he was just rah, rah, rah. He wasn't saying anything, just playing with animals. But seeing, that's the other side I think we also have to cultivate, are the different ways in which our spirit and our body
Yeah.
can communicate. It's
Right.
not only verbal, right? It's not only physical. Go out and dance. I
Yeah.
draw with my daughter, whether it's abstract art where we're just drawing stuff, or we put on a YouTube video, and so like those are the moments that
Right.
I'm really in love with, so.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's difficult. We haven't given, well, the oldest one, the other one I feel is too young, a phone yet.
Yeah.
And some of her friends already have
Already have
phones,
them.
and she's already like, when am I
Yeah.
gonna get a phone?
I mean,
Oh,
it's hard because it's access to information that they may
yeah,
be able to get to, uh, that they're not ready
for
for.
sure.
Like you can't understand this,
Yeah,
but um, like with our kids, our big, like, look, there's good and bad, bro.
yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
I'm
You have to be honest.
100%.
Yeah,
And they'll hear a curse word here or there.
right. And I'd rather them learn it from me than from a friend, because
100%.
the friend is not going to be
100%.
reliable.
100%.
Yeah, I
And
need you to know things from me.
I'm not gonna raise a naive kid.
No.
And
Yeah.
essentially how we look at it is, just what they know. Just there are certain things about that not for you.
Right.
So like my son is. So if there's something on the TV, like no,
Oh my God,
But
that's how the oldest one is.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not supposed to be looking at that.
100%.
That guy cursed.
100%.
Look, take it off.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. But the little one is
And
like, what?
That's my
What
daughter.
was that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, that's my daughter. That's my daughter, and then
now,
that's
like,
my son.
we used to spell a lot. Like I would be like, coño, like F-U-C-K, like, and then she's like, you said, I heard you.
I know what you said.
F-U-C-K. Yeah. I'm like, I can't even spell anymore.
No.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But then getting them to understand that things don't exist. Nothing is perfect, and no one is perfect. Right? Like that. I think that's like I going to book 3. I was like, I brought a little, like, everybody should curse.
At least once.
I think our smartest people should curse. Right? Yeah. The president should say fuck. Right? But it's the representation that there's good and bad. Mm-hmm. In order for there to be good, there has to be bad. Right. So that's the nature of our reality. That's the nature of what we're in. Right. There is no,
it's funny that you say that, because the other day Emma, our oldest, was like, how come you guys get to curse and I don't? And I was like, that's a good question. How come? And then I'm telling her, the problem is that words are powerful and you don't yet understand how and when to appropriately curse.
Right.
So when we get there, trust me, I will be right there cursing alongside of you. Mm-hmm. But not yet.
Right.
Not yet.
There are things that are for you that are not for me. Right. You can run around and play, but I go to work. Yeah. Right. I have to do this. I have to do that. Don't just sit here and try and pick only the good things that you want. Not as good and bad. You want to start? Hey, look, I'll let you
pay this bill. You can curse
100%. Hey, you want that? Well, now you can also get this, and now you can wake up. Right? Yeah. The kids tried to wake up with me because I wake up at 4:04 to work out. Right. And they tried to, they were up with me. Nice. Oh, they were passed out. With my wife going to work, and I told them, I said, I better not hear your teacher saying anything, but you've got to know, like, now the older you get, you'll get more responsibilities, but stop trying to grow up.
Yes.
I think that's what, like I tell my students.
We spend such little time being kids.
Be a kid.
Be your age.
Be a kid.
Yeah.
Run around. Work on your imagination. Work on your creativity. Yeah. Work on not having to do things, just not having to care in the world, because I can tell you where you're going, and like I tell my high school kids, stop, unless you need to provide for the family, stop telling me about I'm going to get a job. Yeah. You're going to work the rest of your life, bro. All right? Unless you win the lottery. All right? So enjoy this. Be a part of activities. Study, figure out what you like. Figure out what you don't like. Figure out what you value. Figure out how you value. Figure all of those things out right now. And while you have people, right now you can go to a teacher and you can ask questions. Mm-hmm. If you do that with 20, you're paying for a psychologist.
Right.
You got to pay money for it. You have all of these opportunities for free.
It's true.
So I think there's just too much we want to rush, money. And like, you don't get paid for time, you get paid for value. So increase your value. Right.
For sure. Yeah. It's, what's that saying? The youth is wasted on the young. It's so difficult to learn these lessons when you're so young, but that's when they matter the most.
Yeah. Well, it's perspective.
Yeah. Right? That's true. Because I know people that are way in, 40s, and they're still struggling with kids. Some lessons. Yeah.
They're still kids.
They're still
kids.
Kids.
Maturity is not an age. And I think
that's true.
I think this is my out there idea. I think everybody, like, there has to be a rite of passage. Right?
Yes.
Like, I'm just like, and
if you look at every culture, 100%, everyone has a rite of passage for boys and girls.
Yep.
And it seems like we do not.
We do not. And I'm of, just because athlete all my life, and I'm like of the physical nature. Right. Yeah, like when we graduate these kids, they should go to a 6-month boot camp, because just as an athlete, there's a special bond that you have when you suffer with a group of people.
Yeah.
Like we all run, or like, just like you said, camping. Right. You have that experience, you can't really experience. You can talk about it, but you
Right.
can't really experience it the way you experience it when you go through that with somebody.
For sure.
And how much do we know about ourselves if we never pushed ourselves to the limit? Right? If it's always about comfort, no,
Yeah.
oh, I think I'm gonna pass out. Look, run until you pass out. It
Yeah.
ain't gonna happen.
Right.
You're the the mind is the weaker part, and we don't
For
push our
sure.
mind enough. We don't really bring that out of us. So I think
Yeah.
that's what we're suffering from.
Yeah.
Just comfort and
Right.
ease.
That's
So
true.
mhm.
So, short story, I am not athletic. Sure you
Yeah,
can guess.
no,
So, I grew up on a farm, like being outside, but I'm not, like I was never interested in playing sports or
yeah,
anything like that. So, when COVID started, I started having like insomnia and all these things, and I'm like, I need to do
yeah,
something. And I'm not one to like just take medication.
right,
So I enrolled in the gym for the
yeah,
first time
okay,
ever.
okay,
So it came up a year
yeah,
last week, and I'm talking to my coach, my trainer, and I'm like, dude, like everyone's like the first year I lose like 10 pounds, 20 pounds. I've not lost any weight. He goes, you were working on your mind. I'm like, you are
yeah,
right.
but you know what? Well, that's 100%, a
Yeah.
million percent,
Like
because
I was weak in here when it
yeah,
came to, like just pushing my body in a
pushing
certain way
yourself. That's wow.
and
Hmm.
saying, okay, I can do that. Therefore, I can do
And it
this other thing.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and what it does in terms of your hormones, when
Right.
the hormones that it
Yeah.
releases, and your sleep cycle for your circadian rhythm,
Right.
and like the Bennett, that was my first part in terms of. I keep on going back to book two, but courage, like
Yeah.
exercise, get a sleep schedule, and it's not about losing weight. It's not.
It's really
It
not.
isn't. It's
Yeah.
about the process.
Yeah, for
Forget about the
sure.
product. Like I you ever been cut off in traffic? Right?
Yes.
What's the first thing you do? Right? But
Yeah.
we shoo that part of us away, right? And I think, like the homo part of us, in terms of Homo sapien, not the 2021 term,
Clarify.
right? Um, but we all, like, we discovered fire 2 million years ago.
Mhm.
What was life like 2 million years ago? You know what I'm saying? And there's a part of you that has that in you. And I think we need to cultivate that during our workout sessions, because that part of you has an unbelievable drive. That part of you
Yeah.
will not take no for an answer.
It's
That
the one
that
that
part
makes
of
things happen.
that's the part, like look at what you made. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you could have, oh, it's gonna be so much work, and nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
Exactly.
But what do we do with that side in society? And we need to.
Right.
Someone steps on my shoe, and it's if you let that side out, it's like you're on World Star,
Right.
But I say feed that side during workouts, and it ain't about it's not about
Mhm.
losing weight. When do you feel the best after a workout? When you freaking get after it. When you're
Yes.
like, I work out the hardest on the days that I don't feel like working out.
Yeah.
And then after, it's like you get an unbelievable high.
Right.
So what that does for our mental, we know it's there.
Yeah,
It's out
the
there.
studies don't lie. There's
It's
so many benefits to
mm,
it.
but
I
so
was just somehow not on this bandwagon that it's so good for you.
yeah,
Somehow it just
it's hard.
yeah,
And what do we say the number one problem we have is we
right.
lie. Limiting
Yeah.
idea exercised.
I don't have
Oh, it's not a big
time
deal. I don't have enough
or
time. Or
yeah. Or,
no, just a
mhm.
little bit later.
Since I grew up outside, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I don't need to be in
Uh,
sports. I'm
yeah.
outside
But
anyway.
and I'm not even because it's not even about a sport. It's about
Yeah.
working out.
Right.
Go on a walk, right?
Yeah.
If walking starts getting easy, start jogging. Do some plyometrics. Oh,
Right.
I don't have 10 minutes. Set your alarm clock 10 minutes earlier and make it be the first thing in your day that you're going to do a 10-minute
Mhm.
ab session between
Right.
abs and push-ups every morning. How is that going to hurt?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's only going to benefit. But
Yeah.
you lie to yourself. Oh,
right.
If it's not a big deal, then do it. What?
Exactly.
Like, look up information. www. World Wide Web. All the information you want in the world. But what are you seeking? Right? Burger King and McDonald's and Pizza Hut is shooting their messages to you, right? It costs $1 million for 30 seconds of airtime. Well, you have all of your airtime and you're in charge of what you put in your eyes.
Yeah.
And what do? We flip through Instagram looking at God knows what, and I do it too, that's fine. But what are the things that you're doing on a consistent and deliberate basis to grow you, right? Don't tell me you're perfect, because then I know you're crazy. No one's perfect, right? I've always
That's when we know you lost it.
That's when I know you're cuckoo.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
And nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's fine. Yeah. But like, come on, let's be real. I'm bothered by. I think we're wasting so much time, right? Like, I think the oldest in the beginning, I think our ancestors began with the end in mind, right? They started buildings, they started projects that their children could continue and their grandchildren would complete. And I think in today's age, what we do is me, I, and what am I going to get out of this? And we don't have, because of comfort, I don't think we have the forward thinking. I don't think there's enough forward thinking individuals. I think there's just not only lying to ourselves, but then also lying to get ahead. I think that's probably the most popular thing out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So
now that you bring that up, you mentioned something here about our relationship with the present and the future.
I read something on, what's today, Wednesday, Monday morning, that said the present is an illusion, which kind of contradicts that, but no. But it's who you were and who you are and who you're going to become.
Right.
And the most important thing is who you're going to become, and understand that the present, like what you have right now, is a gift, right? Mm-hmm. It's why we call it the present. Okay. And take advantage of it. Like, where are you right now? You can make things a little bit better. Where are you right now? Right? Get yourself in state. Really, but honestly reflect. Like, really look in the mirror and say, like, where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
What do I want?
I think I found it. So you said here on page 12, all forms of education, cultural, familial, technical, spiritual, math, etc., are the transfer of the lessons learned via the experiences of our ancestors through time to the present. And that made me think, because we worry so much about what we're going to leave our kids in a material sense. Like, what house am I going to leave them? What's my legacy going to be? But then we don't think about what we're leaving in every other way, the education, the values, all that other stuff is also inheritance. Yep. It's not just the one that shows up in the bank.
100%.
What traumas, what joys am I passing on?
Well, the relationship, right? Like, the day to day, like, I'm not my own slave, right? I'm not my own master, right? I'm neither one. I'm both slave and master. I can ask, what are 5 things that you need to do right now, and you'll list them off. What are the things that are kind of bugging you a little bit? I can't just tell myself to do something. It's the same thing that we have, it's the same relationship that we have with our kids. Like, it's about a relationship, and it's not about just telling them that they have to do something. It's what are we teaching them, and like, what belief are you instilling in them, right?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people think that belief is a way of thought, and that's false, right? Belief, bring it down. BELIEF. Switch the F and the E. It's be life. How are you acting in life?
Mm-hmm.
And that action is the example. That action is the relationship.
Right.
So I want you to read more. Okay, well, how about you sit down and you read as well? And
Yes.
like, let's have reading time. Let's, you want them to be more
Yeah.
compassionate? Well, show them love. Have conversations with them. What you want them to be more active?
Then
Like I
you
said,
get out
then you
there.
get out there and you do a
Yeah.
little something. Play hide and go seek, play duck duck goose, do something. Put the phone down.
Yeah.
But in that, uh, getting our kids to realize that there's a lot of hard work that went into building this. Now you don't see it, so we take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to have a certain amount of gratefulness for the situation that we're in. With that said, how we got here, it is not all. It's not all Care Bears and unicorns, right? There's some evil, devilish
Mm.
stuff that was going on,
Yeah.
and there's an evil, devilish part in you as well, in all of us.
Yes, I like that you said that too. I feel like I'm gonna quote you our entire interview because it is true. Here, I found it. There's a dark side to the past. There's a dark side to us. There's a dark side to you. It's why we have rules.
Yeah, it is.
That was so
Yeah,
powerful.
but it's true because
Yeah.
everybody.
But people, why do you think people are so afraid of recognizing that we do have a dark side,
I
no
think
matter who you are?
I think I think a lot of all of human history is us versus them, right?
Yeah.
First, us versus them was geographical. They're from over there, we're from
Mm-hmm.
here, and then it turned into spiritual. Right? They're of that religion, we're of this religion, and now I think everybody's just, I don't know if it's just a money thing, right? Where it's just, I need to make money, I need to make money, I need to make money. Money ain't gonna bring happiness. And understand, um, like you get, like I said, you get paid for value, but that value can differentiate. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
get paid by educating. I can get paid by servicing. I can get paid by comforting. I can be, right, like, so let's be more specific about those things and let's build ourselves into what we're trying to be, I guess. Like, what's our aim, what's our goal? So hold on, what's the point again? Just had a brain fart where I was going. um, with looking at all of those things, with looking at all of those sacrifices, realize that someone sacrificed for this.
Mm-hmm.
Be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted. You can't, right? If you're if you're grateful for something, your attitude automatically
Yeah.
changes. If you're feeling down, go into your bag, go into your blessings, go into your achievements, and go into
Mm-hmm.
your goals. Right? Go into those three things. You feel better. Think about
Immediately.
the think about the think
Yeah.
about the people who sacrifice for you. Right? Like I don't have this. I don't. Do you have? I don't have both my mom and my dad, or I live with my abuela. Are you grateful for your abuela? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Think about her. Think
Right.
about how proud you're trying to make her. Like a lot of times when you hear athletes speak, it's like, oh, thank my mom. Right. When you're working for someone else, you can push yourself to another level. When you're working for you, you know, you
Yeah.
know you.
Right.
It's not a big deal. Hit the snooze button. You know you. When
Yeah.
you're getting up for someone else, you might wake up before the alarm clock, and that's when you can truly actualize.
Right.
So understand that there's a dark side out there. I think looking at Jewish families during the Holocaust,
Mm-hmm.
um, 7 out of 10 families were turned in from family members,
Yeah.
their own family members, right? Hey man, understand, and as long as we want to put the blinders on, like
Mm-hmm.
no, we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Was it Dr. Peterson that said if we were in that time right now, most of us would be
would
one of
be
those that would be turning people in?
100%,
Yeah,
a
and
million
that's
percent.
that's it's difficult,
Yeah,
right? To process because you want to think that you know better,
because
that you would do better.
you want to lie to yourself.
But the reality is that, in the right circumstances,
Exactly.
you probably would do
Exactly.
certain things
Because
that you're not proud of.
you're trying to save your ass.
Yeah,
Like if I can, it's better you than me, right?
exactly. It's instinct.
And that's where we're at. That's why, like, if we didn't have nuclear weapons, right? Let's go take it further. If there were no guns and there were no nuclear weapons, we would be fighting right now.
Yeah.
Like the only reason we're not fighting is because we know everything will get blown to shit. But
Yeah.
um, so let's not deny that fact. Like
Mhm.
we're there's a conflict in India and China over some small territory, and they're rushing people in with rocket launchers and all this other stuff. This is happening now
Yeah.
today, right? Like right now today. There's I was watching Vice. They're still indentured servants. They eat. They pour water in dirt. And they call them mud pies, and that's what they eat.
Oh
Right?
my God.
Like as far as we want to say that we've become, we haven't. Nah, we're
Yeah.
we're we're still
Right.
us. All right,
Yeah.
we're just
There
still
our inherent nature is still there.
yeah. And I mean, we're sitting here, we're conversating, right? But we as people are always at the mercy of our lowest common denominator. What do I mean by that? Somebody comes in here and they are violent and wielding a weapon, then we've got a choice.
Right.
We can be violent, or the lowest common denominator often sets the course of action. It's the same thing with your mind, right? You can tell yourself that you want to be a great athlete, right?
Hmm.
And you can work out, work out, have a great workout regimen. You can eat great, but then you only get 1 hour of sleep every day. You're like, oh no, I'll only get an hour every day. Well, are you going to be able to? No, you're always at the mercy of the lowest thought. You're always at the mercy of the lowest thing. What we've gotten great at is locking people up, right? And not
Yeah.
everybody who's locked up is supposed to be locked up, which is, that's a whole different issue. But there's a lot of people in there that
Yeah.
if we let them out, we're not having this conversation, right?
Right.
We've got war paint on, and we are in a
Yeah.
totally different
We're
world.
going back to our roots.
Yeah, a hundred
Yeah.
percent. Where you really, yeah, I
Yeah.
really do need to focus on where your eyes are. I really
Right.
do need to focus on what trying to figure out what your intentions are, because now we're living a different type of life. So, um, getting having that understanding about yourself, um, I think it's powerful. Um,
Yeah.
but not only on the bad side as well, because I got it from Peterson, where he was saying, um, the saying "the meek shall inherit the earth"
Mm.
doesn't mean that those people unwilling or unable to kill. Um, it's people who are able to, but don't. Right,
Know how
and
to control it.
you get that.
Yeah.
Can you control that other side?
Right.
Right. You have got to have some monster in you, right? Because the monster is the thing that drives you forward, right?
Right.
Like there are unknowns, right? And that is just a fact. Well, it takes courage to face the unknown. Well,
For sure.
if if you don't have, a little bit of a monster, a little bit of action behind you, then you'll never move forward. And if you never move forward, what is that? Well,
Yeah.
that's tied into our motivational systems. Like we know we do it with rehab. How do you check into a rehab? Can someone else check you into a rehab? No. You
It
have to
has to be you.
voluntarily, willingly take that on. It's the story of the phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
The phoenix. We know this. The phoenix sets itself on fire and then is reborn anew. Well, what like if you want to do something, there are certain things you have to stop doing.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, there are certain people that you might have to stop hanging around. If you want to do something, there's certain parts of you that you have got to willingly burn away
Mm-hmm.
and then grow back anew. But
Right.
you have to do it. Like someone doesn't set the phoenix on fire; the phoenix sets itself on fire. So it's a personal journey. You know, it's got to be your decision.
You also brought up the example of the eagle,
Right.
which I thought was so interesting because I always hear, especially from, have you listened to Dan Pena talk?
No. Mm-mm.
You might enjoy his talks.
Let
So
me see.
he
Yeah.
is an entrepreneur who came from very humble beginnings and he's been very successful. And he usually, in his talks, he alludes to the eagle and he talks about how eagles fly alone,
Yeah.
and to
I've heard.
not be afraid of being alone.
Right.
And when you talked about that in your book, I thought it was so interesting because we have to balance this need to belong, but at the same time, like you mentioned, knowing when you have to let go of certain people, certain behaviors because they no longer serve you, and it's tricky. How do you
It's
deal with that?
um well, when things are really complicated, you always have to go back down to your core, right?
Right.
So in football, when we're on the wrong side of momentum, when things are going crazy, this isn't when we call the trick play. This is when
Yeah.
we only call our day one I call them day one installs. I can ask a kid on JV, how do you run this? And they know, so that you can go back down. So when when things are really complicated in your life, go down to your fundamentals. What are the basic things that you need to do and efficiently move that? When you're going through a traumatic experience, we usually plan a day, right? Well, if it's really hard, then okay, only plan half the day. If it's really only plan the next hour. If it's really plan the next 5 minutes. Now, once you see yourself make it through the next 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
go through the next 5 minutes, and then you get the ball rolling. Okay, I can get this done. I can do that. Um, like in terms of eagles, um, when an eagle sees itself flying, and if there's another bird, it's another eagle, right?
Yeah.
So, what I take from that is you've got to ground yourself, but in grounding yourself, you have to know yourself. So that's why in there I put what do you know about family, education, uh, peer groups, mass media, and then religion. Like how does that shape you? And then what are the things about your temperament? What are the things about your personality? Are you conscientious? Are you agreeable? Are you
Mm-hmm.
neurotic? Are you
Yeah.
extroverted? Are you like know these things about yourself, right? And and what we do is we don't deny them,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're
That's important.
and that's because we like to lie to
It's
ourselves.
key,
Be
right?
be
Yeah.
real. I don't like X. Well, if that's truly you, you'll always not like X. What you have to do is be okay with that and you build Y. What we try and do is, oh, it's not a big deal and forget
Mm-hmm.
about X and only look at Y. That's not how it works. Right? You've got to affirm, right? It's back to
Yeah.
the idea. Smart people should fucking curse sometimes. Like
Yeah.
like you've there is duality
Yeah.
in our reality. So uh, stop denying, don't deny. And if it's hard for you, just because you're alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like and then also for me because I went through a little something with depression and in February.
Oh wow.
Just because
Was that before you wrote the book or after?
I started this. Well, okay, I'll take you through that. So February, I disappeared for like a few days. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell
Do you
my
want that in the
mom.
podcast?
I can put it in. It's not a big deal.
Okay. I
You
just
know.
wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that you were
Just
okay with.
because I still have. Uh, there are people who are like, from a football standpoint, just kind of pissed off, and I'm like, look,
That you went
that
away?
yeah, and it was like, look, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell I
Yeah.
was alone, right?
Wow.
And something happened which, if I heard someone else talk about it, I'd be like, they're fucking lying. So I'm not even gonna go into that.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me was coming back and seeing the amount of people that were like impacted. You know, like it's like, hold on, what's going on here? You know, and then having those hard conversations with my parents, and then having a hard conversation with my wife, and and then being like, as bad as that was, I'd do it again a million times over to be where I am right now in terms
Yeah.
of the mentality. And I think it's a representation of like, sometimes you got to go through some shit.
Oh, I was gonna
You
say,
know?
do you feel like you needed to go through that?
Yes.
Yeah.
To be where I am now, like
Yes,
100%,
for
a
sure.
million.
Like
Like
there
it's
was
not
no
even.
other way for the Roger
No.
that's here today to be here without that
No.
experience.
No.
Yeah.
No. This book is still in Google Sheets, and it's not even a book. You know, I'm still caught up in all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
And the 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 most powerful thing for me was I talked to people that I hadn't talked to in years, and they just off of, because we're network,
Mm-hmm.
we're connected through networks, and um, I had people in elementary who are having conversations with other elementary kids, you know what I'm saying, and former teammates from high school or former teammates from college, and it's kind of surreal. It's kind of weird. Like more people celebrated Kobe Bryant after his death than when he was here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and we all have so many things that are going on, but I think we don't really we're there's so much lying going on
Mm-hmm.
that we don't really value the essence of the reciprocation of relationships
For
in
sure.
today's age, and it's because there's so much, you know,
Yeah.
empty talk or empty conversations or whatnot. But
Right.
um, being able to be where I am today, uh, that will how that tied into the book was, everything with CTE, right? It's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So really
Mm-hmm.
trying to get down to the bottom of why,
Mm-hmm.
um, which found out it was just a major depression hit,
Right.
for me, and in terms of really work, really,
Yeah.
really kind of, how I looked at what I was doing, and how I valued things. And what that did was it forced me to say, well, we don't know, right? To be in all honesty, uh, so we have no clue or no idea. Well, can I speak and think right now? Yes. Well, what is it that what is some information I want to put forward to the kids?
Yeah.
Right? Like I can go down that road and all of this, which we found out that nah, like a lot of the none of the other things point to that direction. But there was a point in time where it was like, oh my gosh, like all panic, you know?
Yeah.
And what that did was it made me really sit down and say, all right, let's get serious about this.
Yeah.
Let's let's really let's really put uh, pen to paper and do something for them, and where they can see it happening, because right, it's begin with the end in mind. So they know all about this book. It's like, oh, you're working on the book. Is that our? Yeah, you're over here on the back. Yeah, this is yours. This is what Daddy wants you to read. He thinks it's really important for you guys to know, because what I see is, I think where we're going and how we're doing things is all about this, and it's not enough about the individual. We're lining kids up in like, look at our economy. Our economy is an educational base, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? How are we teaching kids, trades? How are we teaching them skills? I think that's an important conversation that we're kind of not having. So um, there is the side where we have to talk about all of the things that we figured out from the past. But then there's also the side where if we say that everybody's an individual, that we kind of have to give our kids as well, like, look, this is what we know about people, right?
Yeah.
Like the human brain doesn't understand time. If you have a thought, whether it's about the future, present, or past, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Right?
It's here.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you, like they say, the best thing to do to motivate yourself, don't think about standing with the medal, because then your brain has already, okay, I got the medal.
Why am I going to keep going?
100%. What you do is you have to go into your process. Think about the things that you need to do, and that's what once you're thinking of those things, that's what gets you going, right? So that's I'm always listening to just random stuff.
No, I mean, and it pays off because, like I told you before, this book, it was extremely powerful read. And now knowing what happened, in essence, I can see why this is so it's so dense in knowledge, because you lived it. Like, you set yourself on fire, and really you came out the other side, and this is what came out with you.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
Kind of walk different, because it's I don't suggest it. I don't suggest forcing it on anybody, but it's
it was your road.
Yeah. Everybody's on a journey,
and everybody's
going through something. Everybody and everybody's at a different stage. And I'm sorry for some of the people who are out there, but then I'm just kind of like, all right, Merry Christmas, you're good. Like, I don't. All right, that's fine. Like, where I am right now.
Yeah.
Like, even with the relationship with my wife, in terms of our conversations, and in terms of like it's really given us the ability to have extremely difficult conversations without flinching.
Right? And that's so important.
And I think that's the basis behind relationships. Right. Like, every day ain't gonna be a good day. And I think we're kind of, we live under that false pretense, right? Like, I think our ability to lean into the bad is what makes the good great, and not, but you got to have your focal point, right? You have to have your bearings, like we're driving we're navigating a ship, and we're in stormy weather. Like, you have to have your stars.
You got to know what you're holding on to.
100%.
For sure.
100%. So
sure.
When you're at that point, I think, real things, strong things can really manifest themselves. So, it's just crazy experience, fun experience. But like we said, you don't grow in your comfort zone. Right. And then again, I wouldn't be sitting here. Right? Definitely. I wouldn't be.
We wouldn't be talking about this.
Right.
You'll probably still be coaching, and
I'm still
dealing with whatever it was that set you on that path.
Right.
Without correcting it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate.
So, all right. And you went about it a different way, a better way, but we won't say better.
I don't know if I would say that. It was different way for sure, but
but you're right.
There's a Nigerian saying that we love in our household that says all roads lead to the market. You know, it's like we all have different ways of getting there, but we all know where we're going.
Right.
You know, and yeah, and you had your road and I had mine, and whoever's listening has theirs, but just know, keep in mind where you're going.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. And
it's tough.
And
it's tough.
It is tough, but it's got to be tough, right?
Right.
Like we know that if you're gonna transform your body in the weight room, is it gonna be tough? Yeah. Is it gonna be worth it? Yeah.
Right.
You know, and start to kind of love it. You know, a little bit with as much as you can love it, but after a month or two or a year, you can really see well. I ask my students all the time. I'm like, okay, are you the same person that you were in 5th grade? And you, no, I'm not. Like I'm smarter or I'm this.
I've grown up.
Yeah. Well, if you're growing up every day, you know you're growing up every day. What are you doing to grow yourself into what you want to become? Actively. Like, what are you doing? But we kind of, I'm going to school or I'm doing this. Or, okay, that's fine. You're going to school because you have to. What do you want?
Right.
What do you want?
There's no ownership, it feels like, of your person. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's well, I don't know if I put it in this one, the story about you have to go to a grocery store every day and you have to buy something for $4.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Okay. That was a good one. I had to read that one like twice because that was a good one.
And these are just random stories that came up.
Like $4. The $20.
Well, here it is. It's okay. You have to buy something for $4 every day. You have to go in every day for $4 one thing, and you only have a 20, you have a 50, you have 100.
Yeah.
Right. You go in $20 bill. Here, here's a 20, and the guy's like, "I'm sorry, I don't have any change." Right. But here, I'll keep the 20. Here, you can go. And like, I know you're gonna come back tomorrow.
Right.
So okay, no big deal. I got you $16. Next day you come in, and I'm telling my class this. So I'm like, now you have a $50 bill. Hey, remember you owe me. Oh, I got you. You're good. Okay. When it's time to hand over the money, he takes the money. It's like, oh, I don't have any change. I'll get you back your change tomorrow. And then, of course, it does the same thing with the $100 bill. And how does that make you feel? And everybody's like, no, I'm going to go somewhere else. No, you can't go anywhere else. All right? Like, that's the first thing.
Yeah, I'm not coming back here.
I'm going to fight him. Look, even Mike Tyson got knocked out, right? So, look, you can't do all of that. And then, so let's really break that down. How does that make you feel? It makes you feel mad, right? It makes you feel, all right, well, your heart beats for you every day, right? Your heart gives you a $20 bill every day. Your lungs give you a $100 bill every day, right? Are you giving your heart and your lungs your change? Or do you sit there and you make an excuse? Oh, no, I can't do that. Or, oh, no. And the majority of us do, right? If I said that someone else was in control of your body right now, you'd feel all like, what do you mean? Huh? No. Well, we know that what you're watching is having an effect on you. So why aren't you controlling what you're watch your movie? I watch movies all the time. I'm with that. I get that. But spend 15 minutes a day looking something up.
Yeah.
All right. Spend 15 minutes a day towards an aim. What's your aim?
Right.
And like we know that our motivational systems work off of having an aim. And what I think is the majority of our kids are just scrolling through here. Well, what's the aim? To get more likes. Well, what do you have to do to get more likes on there?
I don't know.
I don't like be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like if I look at the most popular videos, it's people showing their ass or something ridiculous.
I know.
Well, if that's all you're freaking doing, and we know that cuts your IQ down by 15 points. Yeah. Right? Not permanently, but if you're constantly through email and this and this and this and that. So if you know that, I'm not saying that I'm on there too, right? But
yeah, but it's important. I don't think it's realistic to say like, oh, just don't ever look at your phone because in this day and age, it's not going to happen. Like you need to. If you're going to be a member of society, you need to.
Right.
But then let's create a positive relationship with it.
Right.
One that benefits us, not the other way around.
Right.
Yeah.
On that same platform.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You can all right, well, get 5 minutes of I don't know, motivational stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be motivational. Like if you want to be like, well, I was always with athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking at the highlights and start looking at Kobe Bryant when he does talk. Right? And what is he talking about? Listen
Such
to Jordan, listen to the greats, and listen to what they talk about in terms of process. Stop focusing on product. Products will come. Focus in on what the greats say they do day in and day out. Right? Kobe used to spend, I think, an hour or 2 hours only working on his hand strength. That's the amount of detail that he was going into. Then he started talking about film study, where he studied all of the great players just in watching film, right? And then drive. I think it was his 7th grade year. It was like middle school. He went to a basketball camp and he didn't score a single point his whole camp. Kobe Bryant. Right?
I know. How does that even happen?
How does it happen? How does Jordan get cut from the original team? How is Tom Brady, picked whenever he's picked 6th round or whatever? We can't predict. We cannot predict the human being. The human being is special. Yeah. So
the power of the human spirit, you can only predict so much, but then that magical part kicks in and all bets are off.
Somebody could be, just quote unquote a failure their whole life, and then all of a sudden something snaps and then they materialize. Like we don't understand, we don't know, but we do need to come up with rules, right? We do need to have structure. But it's that ever going flow between, what's in the structure and then what's outside of the structure. Right. It's the yin and yang symbol, right? Like it's always flowing, it's always moving, and we're always trying to look at how things are going and, oh, let me take this. A microphone will be a good idea. All right, make that, and if we see that, all right, make some money off of it and go at that. So it's hard. It's an adventure. It's totally just an adventure.
I have some of the questions. I have them here and here. Just if you see me looking at my phone, that's why. To talk about, we briefly touched upon you using some quotes from varying sources. Who do you turn to when you need to feel inspired or motivated?
Well, right now I'm all over the place. What I've done is I've got like different YouTube channels, which I'm reading a book, Temple of Man, right now, talking about just the Egyptian pyramids and a lot of information that was in there, which is like don't you think that there wasn't an Elon Musk 5,000 years ago, right?
Yes.
And it's like mind blown, and it's mind blowing because it's a lot of the information that was already kind of naturally within me in terms of certain concepts. So reading it is ridiculous.
What's it called?
Temple of Man, but it's like it's 2 freaking novels of like encyclopedia books of man. Oh my gosh. So there's one. 2 is tell my kids, like, look, whatever it is you believe in, all right, if you're an atheist and you believe in if you're an atheist and you believe in evolution, then nature would be your God, right?
Yeah.
But spend some spiritual connection time. Spend some time where you are connecting with whatever it is you believe in, right? And then I'm just for when I'm working out, I'm listening to David Goggins or Jocko Willink. Like those guys are like,
I think he can motivate like I don't know, a stone to move, like to start rolling down the hill.
He'll look at it and they'll just start moving.
Yes. Yeah.
I I've been for years. I've been on Peterson, but not really his. I listened to his classes.
Mm-hmm.
So breaking down maps of meaning, breaking down his psychology
Oh, we
classes,
have it here.
sitting in there. Okay, so
Yeah.
I read both of them, and
That was a tough
or hold
one.
on, I haven't read Maps of Meaning yet. I've
Oh,
read
12
the
Rules for
12 both of the
Life.
12 rules.
I'm currently on the second one. I
Okay.
haven't, I just started.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
haven't
So
really,
I really
I read the
liked.
first one. And this one I'm halfway through
Yeah,
because it's
that's deep.
it's
It's
a
like,
lot.
yeah,
Like I find
yeah,
myself having to put it down and walk away for a little bit
100%,
because
and
it's
really to ingest it.
exactly to
Yeah.
really, get it
Mm-hmm.
in there because
Mm-hmm.
it's
So what I like is I listened to Rick Roderick, he was a I think a Chapel Hill professor, and he just touches on all of the philosophy concepts or the philosophers of
right.
time, which is really interesting to me because I can see the different thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and how the different thoughts and how they unfolded in our history.
Yeah.
Um, um, Golly, who else? Uh, I was really big on Inky Johnson and Eric Thomas and Les Brown and so I'll go through those phases, randomly. But right now, for me, it's my aims and my goals that are really driving me,
Right.
which in my I guess my standards, right, in terms of uh, well, that's going back to book two, courage, love, and discipline, and each one of those three has three under them. So
Yeah.
being intentional about your relationships, being intentional about your work, being intentional about your artistic creation, being intentional about study and scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Study our past and study our psychology. Um, I listened to somebody else, Rob Sapolsky's book on Behave. It's like,
You bring him up
oh
here.
my
Yeah.
gosh, oh
I
my
I put
gosh.
it on my list to read it because
As
I have not read that
I mean,
one.
and it's a
It's
monster,
another. Oh my.
which is and it's really like, how does the brain work, right?
Yeah.
Like if we see somebody of another race, our amygdala fires for 1/1000th of a second, and that's anxiety and fear. But if you have, now, it doesn't matter what the race is. Now, if you put a baseball hat on and it's your same team, now it doesn't matter what the races are; it matters what the hat is. So
Oh, that's
we're always at
interesting.
the level of interpretation of people. Um, you can get people to vote more conservatively, or like conservative and disgust. We're finding out has some correlation.
Really?
Yeah. So if this was a voting booth
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to vote for like more conservative, I'll put stinky garbage here because your disgust sensitivity will make you think more conservatively. And
My mind is blown right
oh
now.
gosh, yeah, like the
What?
amount of
Garbage?
yeah, you kind of have to think about it, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I mean, and what I think, I mean, look at our society and how I'd say kind of liberal, like we're having a
Mm-hmm.
liberal issue going on. Well, there isn't too much, we're pretty efficient of getting rid of garbage, right?
Yeah.
We're not too disgust sensitive, right? So it kind of be interesting to see one thing, like, how much do we take for granted,
For
right?
sure.
If we flip that light, unless it was a hurricane, right? But on a natural day, if you flip that light and the light doesn't go off, you'd have you'd have a hissy fit. You're like,
For sure. Your
what the hell's
day
going on?
is destroyed.
Yo, what
Everything
was up?
stops
Yeah,
because you have to address this.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. So, um, like we are living in the greatest time to be a human being, right?
For sure.
If you were what Mansa Musa, right, uh, the richest man ever, right? But would you rather be the richest man ever in Africa 3,000 years ago, right? Or would you just be, a regular deal now where you have cell
Yeah.
phones, you have this, you
I
have
have the
that,
switch.
you have electricity, you have
Yeah.
running water, you
For
have
sure.
all of these things, but since you take them for granted, you can't be
Mm-hmm.
grateful for these things. Like we
Yeah.
don't. I think our other than lies, right?
Mhm.
We have a gratitude problem.
Yes.
What are you really truly
Definitely.
grateful for? Like,
Yeah.
sit down and think about that.
Right.
Not every day, but once a week. Write it down. Right? If you're having a bad day, the best way to change your state is pay somebody else a compliment.
Mhm.
Right there. You go. Um, so I listened to them and um, my kids,
It's
right?
it,
Then my wife, just pouring into and really being present in that. Right?
right.
Like really kind of probing them on their virtues or why they think what they think, and spending that time, being intentional about that time where I'm pouring into my family.
Definitely.
Mm.
Yeah. Which goes back to you saying like curating your surroundings and the people that are
Well,
part
like
of your life.
be be intentional about it,
Yeah.
right? Like it was in the friends section where in with peer groups we often emulate what we imitate what we emulate. And why do you like something, right? Is it just because I see it all the time on TV? Um, but be deliberate about who you hang around, right? Be
Mhm.
deliberate about who you speak with, who you spend time with, and in doing that, in doing so, you're just actively like building yourself and helping yourself, and
Yeah.
and everybody don't want to be your friend either, right? Everybody's gonna smile
That's
at you,
true.
but
Yeah.
you know when you've made a good friend when like I was telling my two of my best friends on the way to this interview, or no, we're talking about like I've been working out like an animal and lost some weight. Just hey, look, I still have this goal or that goal, and they're like, "Yo, we're so happy for you, da 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 da," but shut the fuck up, right? Like you don't need to do this or this or that. Like so, like your friends are the people who like are happy when you're happy,
Mhm.
right? And not you tell them, "Oh yeah, I lost weight," and then they're like, "Well, I lost weight too," right? Kind of just
Oh, that's a
shift it,
good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
always, the people who are always trying to one up you
Right.
in a conversation instead of just like, yo, your true friends like feel joy
Yeah.
that their friend is in a in a good place,
Right.
so.
That's so true.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they're also not afraid to like tell you like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's real,
Yeah.
and that is real. Where I think it's was it Dante's the 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 worst sin is betrayal in Dante's Inferno, or Dante's the seven
Yes.
stages of, but it was betrayal, and I think I just see people betray themselves,
Mhm.
all the time, and it's weird to me. I ask my
Yeah.
students all the time, how many of you guys want an A in this class?
Right.
Okay, do this work. Oh, well, not if I have to do that. Then you don't want the A, right?
Right.
What you have to clearly define what you want.
Yeah. That was another interesting point that you dive into in the book. You said um where we have more of let me look it up. It's on page
Yeah,
31. Wrote it down. We're reaching an era where we have more of a need to be entertained and influenced and educated. And you talk about the goal behind education is not to get good grades, is to learn.
yeah, yeah. Well, learn. How do you learn?
Yeah.
Right? Like
By doing,
what type?
right?
But everybody learns differently,
That's
right?
true.
Like
Yeah.
I I can sit down like my wife and I are like totally different people in terms of,
Opposites.
oh yeah, and that's why I love it. It's like we complement each other,
Yeah.
right? Where she's more verbal, and I'm more just like kind of laid back and like non approachable, right? um, but um, so she's the social butterfly. She's
Mhm.
extremely extroverted. I'm more introverted. I'm way more conscientious and orderly about how I do certain things, where she's not. So We're constantly just kind of just helping each other out, you know.
Right.
Shea Mallory makeup.
We'll link it down below.
Yeah, get my brownie points. But what I'm telling my students now, and it's the biggest, I think, it's the number one thing they need to hear is, and it starts off with the same thing. Look, every single one of you is an individual.
Yeah.
Like all of you guys are, and we had a conversation. Hey, look, if you were going to take the history of this class today, right now, who should write it? If they write it, would it be what all of you gained today? No, this conversation, like the conversation that we're having, the conversation that someone's viewing, certain points, different points are going to jump out to different people different ways because everybody has different perspectives, and my perspectives are based off of my past. Mm-hmm. And everybody's past is different, right? I have a set of twins who same womb, same house, same parent, two totally different things.
Yeah.
Right? I can tell both of them something, and my son is going to get something, and my daughter's going to get something else, right? So understand that, but we still have to have a system, right? We got to do something. So what are we doing here? No, it's not about the grades, right? And like I was in IB program, and I speak a little bit, I speak some Spanish, but me and my Esau kids, we have an understanding, right? I speak bad Spanish, they speak bad English, right? And we go at it. But
but you were in the IB program as a teacher or a student?
As a student.
As a student.
Yeah, when I was
and you
at
did
campus.
Spanish.
Yeah, I did Spanish.
Oh my goodness, that must have been tough.
100%.
Yeah, because that Spanish is no joke. It's not like regular Spanish.
Yeah, no, it was Spain Spanish.
That. What is it? The Royal, La Academia Real Española or something like that. Don't quote me.
Yeah. No, it was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But what I tell them is, entonces yo hablo un poquito de español en la clase, porque si no hace las cosas que tiene que hacer correctamente, no puede que tener esta conversación ahora en español.
Okay, but your Spanish is really good.
But I don't know. I think in English, and then so.
Well, of course.
Right, but like funny, when I was my freshman year in college, I was in Spanish 1 in North Carolina. I went to North Carolina State, and we read like a simple sentence.
You're like, I got this.
Because I read the sentence with an accent, I'm a black guy, so everybody kind of like turned around and they're like, where the hell? I was like, well, I guess I'm from Miami. I don't know. And they were like, oh, okay, he's from Miami, and stuff like that, because everybody else is like, hablo, just on single words, and I'm just running it off. But I tell them, I could have cheated my way through IB and probably got, better grades in Spanish and gotten all A's.
Yeah.
But what does that matter now, right? Would I have been able to do that, pull that sentence together? And there's some days where my Spanish isn't great, and I'm like, well, and everybody likes to point at the mistakes, and it's like, all right, did you get the point?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And I'm here trying.
Right. Right. So it's like, learn. I'm like, look, you might learn a different fact from history that, in 10 years, you're just having a random conversation. You can drop a fact, and I tell them you might woo your wife, in 5 years because you have a simple fact. It might be a conversation starter.
Right.
So what we're doing right now is, you may not want to learn these things. Figure it out. Figure out how you learn. But the number one problem I see is has nothing to do with learning. It has to do with organization, right? Like, so I have ninth graders right now. Like, look, write all your homework down in one place for every single one of your classes.
Yes.
Like, come up with some type of schedule. When I get home,
a system.
Put your stuff down, and it's always about systems, right?
It's a life skill.
And at the end of the day, if you try, you're gonna be fine. But people don't want to try because if I try, I put myself out there, and if I put myself out there and I fail, then I feel bad, right? But if I
And
don't
God
try,
forbid you should ever feel bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
If
We're
I
so
don't
scared of
try,
feeling bad.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't try and I fail it. It's because I didn't try, so I can
Yeah.
shoo it off. Yo, man, have some courage, right? Work your ass off. Write a book, put it out there. Kind of feel nervous about it, and if people read it and they're like, then they're like, whatever. It's either,
Yeah.
and it's one of two things. Either, no, you like, all right, good attempt, but it's not for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell when I was I think after I graduated college, I wanted to be a model. I wanted to, I worked on my
Really?
walk, I worked on my talk, I worked on my smile.
That's so cool. I would have never guessed.
No, I didn't. But I tell
Oh,
everybody that.
dang, you had
I'm
me going
mentally,
there for a second.
yeah,
I'm like,
I say
what?
that to the class all the time. I'm like, they look at my picture and they're like, yo, you're ugly, bruh.
No, I don't mean it
Yeah,
because of that.
no,
I know you're like super athletes, and I never would put model and athlete
no,
together.
but it's my go-to story in the sense that everything you want ain't for you,
That's
right?
true.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, like extract the lessons and blessings from it. So if you really wanted to be a model and you learned all these things and you put a certain amount of dedication towards it, well, the fact that you're not a model doesn't mean that you didn't learn anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn? You learned how to be dedicated. You learned how to use your time and want, like, to integrate yourself with what you wanted to do. So you can take that and move that towards something else.
Right. And you learn that you're not a
and
model.
You learned, right. That was
now
one
you can
aim,
move on.
And now you can move on. Now you can,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Then now you can go. And
yeah.
one day you might be somewhere and there might be a modeling conversation and you can get into that conversation. Right. Who knows? But let's stop being so caught up in, all of the success. We keep on seeing the final product of things. And again, the brain doesn't see Instagram. The brain sees people in success.
Yeah.
Right? You take an Instagram picture, you don't like it, you take the other picture again.
Until you get one that's...
They're all real though, but the only thing that people are seeing is the one you post. Stop, bro. Stop. If you've never failed, you never pushed yourself, so you're not growing. Right? If you've never been in a bad situation, you never, you just, how much can you know about yourself? If you're in the weight room and you're always going in there and it's just easy and you've never got to the point where you get stuck, you're not getting stronger. We know this, right? So
I think that's such a good point that you bring up, because that's a society. We're so afraid, for lack of a better word, right, of letting our kids taste failure, of allowing them to feel defeated. And it's, if you really think about it, like you said, it's a disservice, because then inevitably they're gonna fail at some point in their lives, and they're not gonna know what to do.
They ain't gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah.
How much can you know about yourself if you've never fought?
And as a parent too, it's hard to watch your kids experience failure.
Yeah, but
right?
I think, well, for me as a parent, I can ask my kids right now, but I had to drop my kids off. I had to drop my kids off to school on Monday, so I brought them in, to class in the morning, and I asked them in front of the class, like, who's more important, and they'll tell you who you become, right? And they don't understand the whole concept.
Right. But the fact that they're verbalizing it already.
Right.
It's a start.
And I tell my students now, I'm like, look, you got to understand that the most important thing about you is about who you will be. And like love, like what is love? And I'm really big on defining words. So we use the word love all the time. What is it? To me, it's self-sacrifice. So if you love yourself, you are willing to sacrifice for yourself. You're willing to do so. You're not who you were when you were 5 years old. So you're not going to be who you are in 10 years. Are you willing right now to sacrifice something, time, energy, for the person in the future? And if you won't do that for yourself, then bro, come on, man.
Who's going to do it?
Then who's going to do it for you? We expect, and I look at the current generation. I tell them they're the type that will rob a bank and be like, "Hey, I'm robbing a bank."
I know.
It's like you're
Here's a
breaking
picture.
you're breaking the rules,
Yeah.
right? And then you get mad when someone calls you out on it. It's like you have your phone on. You're not supposed to have your phone on. I tell you to have your phone on. You get attitude,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
There's a huge sense of entitlement.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not our fault. It's not their fault.
No,
It's
for
ours,
sure. It's
right?
ours. Yeah.
And I like I used to always ask kids when they were coming out for football, I'm like, "Have you ever been in a fight?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Have you, did you win?" And
Yeah.
just messing with them and starting with the banter. But it's also like you got to, you got to kind of push yourself,
Right.
and kind of see where you're soft around the edges, and then be open and honest about it,
For
and
sure.
I don't think enough of us are open and honest with each other, but
Yeah.
then we're not open and honest with ourselves. So how can you expect it, right?
Right.
Liars shouldn't lie.
Well,
What the
duh.
hell are they supposed to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
I identify these things, and then
Yeah.
like once you know what something is, now you know how
Yeah.
to treat it.
Right. And understand that where we come from doesn't have to be where we're going
Right.
or who we are.
Right.
And that, especially at their age, it's so hard to understand that,
Well, and it's I think like I spend a lot of time trying to get them to they're developing theory of mind right now, so
Right.
they're being able to think outside of themselves, right, from different perspectives. And I'm like, look, man, like the most important thing you can do is figure yourself out. And there is a lot to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not the same person that you are when you're mad.
Each person is a universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are the center of the universe, and you are
Yeah.
connected to individuals. Like
Right.
everybody is a center, you
Yes.
know. So yeah, realize that, but society is us coming together,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're strong. We know that we're stronger together. So as we come together, we have to come up with rules. Like, just because I want your coffee, I can't just come up and take it, right? We've figured that out. So you think you're in charge of yourself, you're not. Right? It's the story in the Bible. What did Moses do before he came out with the Ten Commandments?
Yeah.
He went up in solitude. Right?
Right.
It's the same thing. Avatar, uh, before he becomes Tarak Makto, he gets abandoned and he goes out on his own. It's like you keep on. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same. Right? It's the prodigal son. Right? Leaves when he ends up coming back. So you've 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 got to go and you've got to
Yeah.
integrate all of these different parts of yourself to become, you know,
You have to spend
one.
some time with yourself.
Oh yeah, a
Yeah.
million percent.
And really looking at all the parts, even the
Yes,
dark ones that you don't like or
but
you're
you
not proud of.
right, right,
Yeah.
and be honest and real about them, and exercise them, right?
Exactly.
You know, so,
Yeah. It's I'm telling you, this book is there's a lot in there.
yeah.
I feel
Mm,
like each section in itself could be
I was thinking about that, right? I
yeah.
was thinking of because I've always been really big on goal setting
Mhm.
with the football team and come
Right.
up with an academic goal, come up with an athletic goal, and come up with a family goal, and telling the difference between goals and objectives.
Mhm.
So I I wanted to just blast some information out, and this is my like first project of
Yeah.
that nature. So I was like, well, how many
So
words is a lot? Or
what was your process like as a writer?
um, first was addressing what am I trying to
Mhm.
attack? Right? I think writing is healthy for people because it really teaches you how to think, how to
Yeah.
articulate your
Do you
thoughts.
journal?
I don't journal. Um, I like I have like every now and then, but
Yeah.
I have conversations with myself. I
I
guess
feel like it's the
right.
same thing.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like getting.
It
I
is.
I like I drive my dad crazy. Right? I like getting to the root of
Yeah.
certain things. It's like right, angry old man. But I like looking at things for not what they're presented as being, but what they are.
Mm,
And my interesting thing, like the thing that really draws my attention is reading things from different disciplines
right.
and finding universal truths, like finding the concepts between and how they interplay. Because I feel like we're too caught up in what's true and not what's truth, right? Like
Yes.
not really digging in, and we the human brain can only the human brain can only have four conscious thoughts at the same time. When we we have 64 million bits of information go through our brain every second. So what I tell our kids, I tell my students all the time, look, this is how your memory works. Okay,
Mm,
everything goes in your registry. Right, you hear absolutely everything that's going on, and in order to move it to your short-term memory, you have to pay attention. That's it.
yeah.
From your registry to paying attention, and then how do you connect it with long-term memory? You connect it to something that you already know. So um, So in that and with that, we forget more than we remember because we can only remember four, but we have like trillions of stuff going
Yeah.
through our mind. So be deliberate, bro. How many things are going into your mind every? Be deliberate. Paper and pencil doesn't forget. What do you sit? Really sit down. What do I want? Okay. Now that you know what you want, not to say that you're gonna get it, and not to say that you are right, but now how am I gonna get it?
Right.
These two things. Don't focus on what you want anymore. Focus on what you say you need to do in order to get it.
The action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how often? Is it every day? Do I have to do it every day? Do I have to do it every 2 days? Do I have to do it once a week? But we don't want to do that because
That takes work.
it takes work. And then two, if I look at it at the end of the week, then I know, damn, I didn't do it.
And
I
then,
failed.
yes.
Right? If I don't do all of that, I can
And
just
then
say,
that
oh,
feeling of
yeah.
discomfort sets in,
Yeah,
and
100%,
yeah,
100%. But so
right.
we're so in love with comfort that there is no such thing as comfort without discomfort, right? There is no such thing as
Exactly.
good without bad. There is no such thing as light without dark. And I think we're too singular, not realizing that everything is duality. Everything
Yeah,
is dichotomy. Everything is like a trinity. Like nothing exists in a singular form. So.
it's true. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's that's a lot to think about, Roger.
Well,
It's amazing how much you were able to pack in just a few pages.
I
So I have to ask you, what's like your number one book to read? Because you mentioned a couple of authors in here, but I was curious, like, do you have a favorite book?
I'm not a I've I've moved away from reading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more into listening to videos.
Like
Like
the speech? Yeah.
every time I don't if I listen to music, I listen to classical because I can't listen to like I might listen to what I was listening to, but I just shake, 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 booty, booty. I can't do it anymore. I can't.
You're over it.
I'm just, it's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I feel you.
So you know what? I religiously listen to Philosopher's Notes by Brian Johnson, and he summarizes like the powerful books in terms of just self-actualization,
Yeah.
neuroscience, how science is connected. Why I was drawn to Peterson because
Mm-hmm.
he'll say something, but then he goes down and connects it to how it's connected to.
He shows you how it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, which I feel like you did that here. Because you made a claim and then you had different perspectives on it.
Right.
Yeah, that was good.
That's my I've got looking at analyzing myself. I've got a contradiction in my personality in terms of how conscientious I am, which is conservative,
Mm-hmm.
and then how open I am with intellectual concepts, which is liberal. which
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't really make. It's not supposed to go together, but
I never thought of that.
unique. Yeah. Mm.
But don't the two of them allow you to have that healthy like pull and push between?
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm. You just don't see it as much, right?
Right.
Like usually, if it's a right, they say what conservative people run the business, and the liberal people go out and make the new business, right? And it's kind of the same thing. If all we do is talk about the past, then we don't have anything new because these are the rules. This is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So we like there's a need to go outside of the
you
rules.
Need that.
But everybody can't go outside of the rules, and the rules are there for a purpose. Now, what is the purpose? Because we also say that shit in the past was also shit. It wasn't perfect either. There was a lot of stuff that was going on that was fucked up. So let's extract.
It's being able to look at things with honesty.
Right. Yeah. But how can we expect people to be honest if they're not honest to themselves? How can I get mad at you for lying to me when you lie to yourself? Right? And that's why I say,
oof, that's a good one.
Right? But that's the first thing. But we also, when I make up a, what is it called? When I make up an excuse for myself to do something that's wrong, but I make up an excuse why I can do it. When I see someone else do it, it like triggers us as individuals, and I think that's why betrayal is, the most, labeled as the most deadly thing because we lie to like we don't have to teach ourselves to lie, right? I think my kids started lying at 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it's part of nature, human nature.
Like, yo, who made that mess? He did it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like
it wasn't me.
Right. 100%. They're lying through their teeth.
And they know that you know that they're lying, but they will hang on to it for dear life.
100%.
Yeah. And we do that as adults too. It's like, well, it's my word against yours.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think that's our, it's our greatest journey, not just, not, well, as we, which is just a bunch of I's, but as an individual. Now, what do you do with individuals who will lie all day, and that's where I think our issue with money comes in, and is it really about making money, right? Or is it about bringing forth something that will bring us to another level? And I think it's about us, getting to the next level, right? Getting to the point where we can say, in 50 years everything is great. In 100 years everything is great, and because the way things are looking, it's like
feels like we're going backwards.
Are we going to make it to next year? And
yeah.
And I think that's the ebb and flow, because we haven't figured ourselves out. So how the hell are we going to figure out 7 billion people? So it's just, it's all opinion, right?
Yeah, and as cliche as it sounds, it all starts with you. Right.
But you have to voluntarily accept. Like I can be the best teacher in the world, right? Well, I go out and I tell I give y'all all of me.
Yeah. Well, as a former colleague, I can attest that you know, and we had this conversation privately. You're amazing at what you do.
But I don't try and teach everybody, right? Because then I'm setting myself up for failure. I'm giving all of me because all right, oh my God, 2007, right? I was,
that's when I started.
Okay, so this is like my, I started in 2005, 2006, 2007. Then I left and was a GA. And then I came back. So I said, no, I left in 2009. So yeah, like 2007, 2008, what I was doing in my sociology class, I was saying I was starting to get into psychology then, talking about the differences in intelligence in terms of social class. And what they were doing was they broke down the amount of positive words the different classes of babies heard. So they broke it down where a rich kid would hear like 250 more positive words than a poor kid. And then the poor kid would hear 150 more negative words
Dang.
than the rich kid. And they were saying, well, damn, already by the age of 3, we're seeing a difference. And so what I was telling them was, so I get that. We're having this conversation. It's Motivation Monday. But look, you are in control of your own destiny. I don't teach elementary school. I teach high school because you know what the hell to do. So one, how many of you guys want to go to college? Okay. Well, you guys are freshmen. How many of you guys are studying for the SAT? Oh, I don't have to take it yet. Okay. But you know you have to take it.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yo,
yeah.
So, all right, let's just play hypotheticals. You have no money. You're homeless. You live on the goddamn Metro Rail. The only time you eat is when you're here at school. If you studied every day for the SAT, if you got all A's in all of your classes because you worked your ass off, but you only ate on the Metro Rail, if you got all A's, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, would you be able to get a scholarship to a school? Yeah. If you got a scholarship to a school, let's say, well, you think it'll be a bad school, a good school? No, it'd probably be a good school. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Now, if you get all A's at that college, you think you'd be able to get into a master's program or what? All right, well, you graduate with your master's in whatever field you graduate in. Did you just single-handedly move from living in the Metro Rail to now having a full-time?
Yeah.
Right? And okay, whatever. When I was the first year I got the head coaching job, I come back into my room and there's a letter on my desk. And it's I don't even know who it was, right? Some girl. Yeah, I was homeless at the time. The only time I really did eat was when I was at school. I listened to everything that you said on your Motivational Mondays, and I got a full scholarship to Columbia University.
You hear me goosebumps.
But
oh my god!
And I was running back and forth, so it was just there on my desk, and I walked in with a few students. I was like, yo. One of you was fucking with me, because I haven't told that story. I thought someone met, and no, it was somewhere. And I came in with a note on top of that, and I had kept that.
Yeah.
And I lost it somewhere between moving back and forth in the offices. But if you're listening to this, hit me back.
Yes.
but that's where when I say I only teach for one, that's the one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to change. I'm not God, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or what I'm saying. And like I told my students the other day, I had a kid, I was giving a lecture, right? We're about to do group work. And then this kid, you know how kids play basketball during lunch, comes in the classroom, he's freaking sweating. I need water. Bro,
water fountains is outside.
To the water fountain. But now we can't do water fountains. They have to get water bottles. So I was like, okay, here. I gave him $1. Go to the vending machine and put the $1 in the vending machine. Okay, here, look, go. Comes back. It's not working. I'm like, bro, like, what do you mean it's not working? You know what? Maybe the $1 isn't working. Maybe it's like, give him 4 quarters. Comes back. Vending machine is not working. I was putting the kids in, and he was like chapped lips. And so I was like, all right.
Parched.
All right. Hey, look, you guys are in your groups. You're good to go. So I walk with him to the vending machine. I'm like, all right, go ahead. Show me what you do. Stands at the vending machine, and he's like, water.
No, like, you're kidding me.
I was like, Papi, what are you doing? I said, like, you gotta use.
Like, it's Siri. He's like, can I have a bottle of water?
What do you think is going on? So I'm like, you have to use the quarters. It's like, oh yeah. Takes the quarters out, puts them in his hand. Water. Nah, bruh. So I'm like laughing, like, what am I seeing right now?
Was he kidding?
No, that's not a real story. But my point is, right now, I'm so
gullible.
The information in this book is $1 that people can put into the vending machine of life. But what they're going to do is they're going to sit in front of the vending machine and yell water, right? And as stupid and as funny as it's going to sound, we hear something that's $1 that we can put in a vending machine of life, but then we get mad when we press the button and it doesn't work. That's my point, right? Like you don't need to find out. Like it's not like the a secret, right? You want
Yeah.
to find out how to do something, you can get that information done, but it's about how you utilize it. It's about how you use
Right.
it. So in the story, we are in many ways in our life standing in front of a venom water, and
Yeah.
it's stupid.
It's
Let's be
true.
real. Yo, what are we doing? What are you doing? Why don't you have that same type of energy now? Huh?
Mhm.
Your heart is giving you, $100. Oh, you were mad before you wanted to fight, so you wanted to fight you. Go ahead and do it. No, no. Now because it's me, now you're not gonna do it.
Right.
Oh, now in the story, that guy's like, what the hell is going on? All right. Oh, that kid is stupid because I'm always telling these stories to the classes. That
Yeah.
kid is stupid. That kid is okay. Well, I just gave you information right now, right? Genie, genius, and genus. Our genus is that of Homo sapien. A genie, what is the magical person and genius? In order to unlock the genius inside of you, or you use a genie, which are what are your three wishes? What are the three things you do every day? What
Mhm.
are what are your thing? What are your vows? What are your standards? Right?
Right.
United States of America says you should pledge allegiance every day to the flag. Right? I think America is the greatest country in the world. Right?
Agreed.
Well,
Agreed.
they say I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America every day. All right. Okay. Well, what pledge do you make to yourself? What's your pledge?
Mhm.
What do you like? What is it? And if you don't have it, make one. Find one. Get one. Oh no. All right. So now it's not important to make a pledge.
Yeah.
That's what the most important, one of the strongest nations in the world says, but you're not going to do it because now you know better. Oh,
Right.
well, no, but you get up. I pledge allegiance. You know it. What's your motto? What's your mantra? Right? And the Vikings, when they used to uh, conquer, what would they do with their boats? They would get to an island and they would burn the boats. There is no retreat.
Mhm.
What are you willing to burn the boat about? For you, not for anybody else.
Right.
For you. We don't have people willing to burn the boats. All right.
No.
We have
People don't even want to get in the
they
boat
don't
and
want to
make
get
the
in the
journey.
100%,
Like they're
a
just like,
million
nope, I'm,
percent.
I'm staying
I'm
here.
good,
This is all
right?
good. If it takes just a
Just
little bit of work, I'm not doing it. I'm staying right here.
so
Yeah.
right. I go through my phone, Bitcoin, 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 Or make this. Okay, all right. What are you actually doing to get that? I think the greatest thing we can do, what you should burn your boat on, is I want to earn something. Right.
Right.
I don't want my mom to do my project anymore. I want to do it. Even if I get a C,
Yeah.
bust my ass on it, I'll be proud about that C because I did that.
Right.
I was the one who brought these thoughts
Find
together.
fulfillment in
And
the things that you're doing on
yep.
purpose.
hmm
Yeah.
so we see, I mean, we are where we are, and maybe I'm just, some crazy guy or whatever, but that's just what I think. That's what I believe, and that's what I'm
No,
doing.
I mean,
You know,
obviously, based on the book and your life experiences, you're more than qualified to
mm,
have an opinion on this. I
yeah,
mean, you've been dealing with kids for so many years.
yeah.
And that's if that's not being the front lines, I don't know what is,
No, it
man.
is. I think
It's
everybody should, like, fresh out of college. I don't care what field you're in. I think you should teach, right?
yes.
For like 3 4 years. Right? I
Yeah.
think that should be our rite of passage.
Yeah.
Understand, like, and it sucks, right? We have a little 2-year-old in our case with high school, but I'll say there's a 3-year-old kid right here. He keeps on trying to climb off the table. Keep on pulling him back. When do you stop trying to save him? Hard
Right.
decision, right?
It's tough.
But now if
Yeah.
he's 15, like I'm telling these kids, look, don't
Yeah.
do that. But until they make that
Yeah.
decision, what do you do? It's
Right.
hard.
I think we need to start teaching our kids better about the power of choice.
Yeah.
You always have a choice, even if you're just a teenager,
Yeah.
even if you're young or whatever, you just don't know. You have a choice, and you need to be aware of that, right? It's
Yeah. It's. I think we forego that.
yeah.
We kind of just we skip over that. Right.
One of
Freedom of
the
speech.
hardest things for me was, like teaching English. Like, okay, it's time for you guys to purchase a novel. Let them know a month ahead. This day you need to have a book. This day you need to have a book. Every day, like a darn parrot. Day comes, I don't have a book. But you're wearing $200 Nikes and you have a $1,000 phone, but you don't have $9.99 or whatever, $12.99 for a book. And it's like,
and now what do? Right? Do you go out and buy the book and then provide it for them? And then even if you do that, can they? And so it's hard, right?
yeah.
And these are
I
all
feel
the
like
things.
and I don't know if this was your experience, but sometimes I feel like a used car salesman. You know what I mean? Like, you want to buy this. You want to learn these things. I promise you, this is going to be good for you.
It's well, we dealt with it with having to buy the football insurance, right? It was $76. Right. So what I started doing was, well, that's how you got your equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You need to be the best player. Doesn't matter. All right, you don't get it. But I had it. Like it's different, you know. Yeah. But I mean, what I've always been interested in is the difference between what people say and what people do. Yes. Right. And I tell the kids all the time. These kids, a lot of them, oh, I want to play college football. I want to. Like, no, you don't. I don't care about what you say. I don't judge you off what you say. Right. You have a girlfriend, right? Boyfriend, and one of them says, you know, that they love you every morning, every day, but in front of your face, they're kissing somebody else. Mm. Do you care about what they say, or do you care about what they do? And that's life, right? We're not judged off what we say; we're judged off what we do. And I think we're in that phase where we're kind of right. As I speak into this now, it's like I think we give too much merit to people off of what they say. Yes. And because of that, there are some really eloquent liars out there, right?
Oh like my God,
I scroll through and it's just like,
and they have you going until you go, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Let me think this through, and you realize it's all BS.
All of it's BS. Oh, come with me, and you're gonna make this. You're doing all of this. You're making all of this money, and your first thing is, it's your ads on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like everybody has you scroll through it on TikTok everywhere. It's like, yo, all of you. Maybe I'm just missing out. I don't know. Maybe it just. I don't know. But I don't get it. So I tell them, look, don't tell me what you want. Show me how you work, and I'll tell you what you want. Right. Like I just can't. Right. And it's the real small group, right, who were like, who get it.
Yeah.
Right. Who but it's not lost in all of them, right? Like I'll say, even with my classes now, I teach 8. There'll be times where we're talking on Thursdays, and like everybody's linked in, like everybody is like
engaged,
So I think it's 100% an individual journey, but I'm a huge advocate of motivating our kids at least once a week, once every 2 weeks, right? It's like snapping them back into it. And then, I mean, you're going to have your kids who just, it don't freaking matter what you say or do. But once you get the majority of the group, when you get the kids like, shh, be quiet,
he's talking.
Yeah, right, and go.
That's when you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Getting that going and living it, right? Like what do you believe? So first you have to come up with, I think that's what a lot of us don't do. Right? What do you believe?
Setting that foundation. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So that you know how you're building up.
Right.
Yeah.
And once I have that, understand that like what you have inside of you is fire. Right? But fire has different stages, right? Wind to a candle, right? If it's something that I don't really have, and the wind comes, it'll blow that candle away. It'll blow it out. But if I have a fire inside of me and the wind comes, it'll make that fire bigger. Well, there is stress that are going to come. So understand that the different aspects of yourself are different levels of fire, and the ones you want to cultivate, you got to kind of be, you might have to shelter it a little bit more until it turns into blossoms to something. But that comes with reflection. That comes with learning yourself. That comes with really paying attention,
Yeah.
and having, and being diligent, being deliberate, about you, about yourself. How do you move forward? Why should you move forward? So, I mean, adults haven't figured it out. So,
Yeah.
trying to get kids to
Right.
to figure it
It's
out is
tough.
it's tough. It is
It's
tough.
really tough.
But
But, they're lucky to have you and have you in real time
yeah.
there in front of them,
Mm.
listening and learning. And I think this book, just not for kids, but for anybody, for adults, because we all need, I know I certainly do, every once in a while, that
Little
shaking
a,
up
a
of like, hey,
a refocus, a retooling.
right.
I I wasn't shy about the title, right? The book
Yeah.
everyone should read.
And I agree with that 1,000%.
um
Yes.
now it makes me I get little tingly butterflies inside hearing that, because
Yeah. No,
it's
and I'm honest about it.
yeah.
It's
Well, that's what I was
you did
telling.
a really
I'm
good
like
job.
here's my book. Um, Tell me the truth,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I'm like that with my wife. Like,
Yeah.
don't look, if you think it's not, if you tell me it needs work here or it needs work there, or
Hmm.
oh, the 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 number one thing is, oh, well, you have a typo here. Well, you know what, I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I put work somewhere. I put that where I want my kids to, again, like I said, smart people should care. I want them to see some of the flaws
Right.
in something that I also think is very powerful, because nothing is just one. Everything is a duality.
Yeah.
So I think there are like 7 in there.
No, I mean, the only thing I would say about it is that I need more, and you already said that there's more coming.
Yeah,
So,
I have this one is my information.
mhm.
Next one is going to be directive, and that's courage, love, and discipline, and going off of those 3 facets, and some other stuff in there that I'm living,
Yeah.
and because I don't, it's the the Nietzschean thought where
Mhm.
there's a crowd around a little dwarf, and everybody's just standing around looking at a dwarf with a big ear. It's like, the philosophers, like, you don't just talk it, you live it, right? If you really
Yeah.
believe something, you live it. So I'm like, in terms of goal setting, or in terms of like, it's what I believe,
Mhm.
and with that, I just, yeah. And
Yeah.
check my TikTok. I'm up at 4:04 every morning
Right.
with a little, making little Instagram posts. But like, these are the things that I think are important, and I think are important because I'm doing them, and I do
Mhm.
see differences. Um, and then the third one, which I'm working on now, is it's tracing the origin of, why is it courage, why is it love, why is it discipline, and then writing it a different way, trying to write it um, where I think our thought should be. Nothing. You don't do name one time where you are only doing one thing, right? You're
Yeah.
always
No.
juggling a whole bunch of
Yeah.
things. So I'm experimenting with going back and forth, so I don't know, if it works out, it works out. But that's my challenge right now, and then from there, who knows, right? So
Well, I'm excited for you. I'm
thank you,
excited for you. And
thank you.
to close, so we know that you're from here, from Miami. You went
Yeah,
away to college, but you're from here.
born and raised.
And yeah, and as we talked about privately, Miami has this it's changing now, I feel like, but we
Mm-hmm.
have this reputation that we're not as cultured as like New York or London, all these other big cities.
Right.
How do you feel about the culture that's really happening here?
I think if we said America was a melting pot, I think Miami is a melting pot times 1,000. Right?
Yes.
Like, I was having a conversation with my students um, 2 weeks ago, I believe, about, like, when you get out of I mean, damn, it might even be Miami, but you get out of Florida,
Mm-hmm.
it's in terms of race, it's like white, black, and Hispanic, and then it's not even really. I don't even call you Hispanic; they say you're
I
Mexican.
was gonna
Everybody's Mexican,
say
right?
you're not Hispanic, you're Mexican.
And
Or Spanish is the other one
or
I've heard.
Spanish, yes,
Spanish or
everybody's Spanish,
Spanish.
right? And I was like, you got to understand, like Miami is different, right?
Yeah.
Miami is like I had 16 kids from different places in one class, right? Where you're gonna have some, I was telling the kid, I know about arroz con pollo, pan con bistec.
Yeah.
I was like, all my nicas are gonna have frijoles and everything,
Right.
just I know about jerk chicken, and I said, you guys are able to really, because well, we were talking about how trade in uh, the Saharan desert trade, and how when you're trading with different cultures, you're not only trading the physical goods, you're also trading culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're also trading different trends. And I was like, you guys, you trade a little bit of everything, right? I have my kids who uh, speak Spanglish, right?
Yeah.
And then I have that, or I have, and it's not just, I mean, the kids are coming from parents, and the parents are coming from a city, and so if you want some good Haitian food, you can go here. You want some good Cuban food, you can go here. You want some good Colombian food, you can go here, right? So we within a, say, a 50-mile radius, I'll
Yeah.
really put it out, no, a 20-mile radius, you can go through 100 different cultures,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, we have any one that's particular? Nah. Well, yeah, that's 305,
Yeah.
right? Everybody in, I don't know what your
That's what
area
we can
code
all
is, but
relate to.
305, and that's, I think that's where we're stronger together. Like with all of the
Yeah,
differences that we have, um, we're proud about being from Miami,
for sure.
and it's not about race, it's not about creed, it's not about nationality, it's about 305,
Yeah.
so
It's about being part of this special
um,
place where everyone's here and everything is happening
mhm,
and everyone is valued. Like I love living here and I
yeah,
loved growing up here.
no,
Yeah.
it was, and I hate cold weather.
Oh, that too.
you know,
I
like
cannot
spending
survive.
time in Tennessee and spending time in North Carolina. Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's people come here to vacation,
Mhm.
right? Like I used to tell my parents all the time, like, oh, we need to go. All right, let's just rent something on the beach and hang out and really,
Yeah.
like, really gain what everybody. And then you can see some tourists walking around, or you see whatever. But to say that Miami doesn't, all right, everybody's entitled to their opinion,
Right.
So it's the,
But
what
I
is it?
don't agree.
No, I do not. But
Those opinions I don't agree with.
it's, what is it? It's the story of the lion, the donkey, and the tiger, right?
Mm.
The the donkey tells the tiger that the grass is blue, and the tiger is arguing with him. So they go to the lion, and the donkey asks him, hey, he's like, yeah, the grass is blue. And now the tiger goes to the lion, like, yo, what's going on? When the donkey leaves, he's like, you're arguing with an ass. like, like, what are you doing?
I love
What are you
that.
doing?
That is
Yo, so
awesome.
they can think about their
Yeah.
little rinky dink, whatever. We know the
Yeah.
truth. The truth is
You
what
New
the truth is.
Yorkers think you got the best
You,
museums and all that.
you
We'll
might,
stay
you know
down
what?
here.
What I'll give them is the accent, son. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Yo, the New York accent, yo. Oh man, but
That's
culture,
true.
nah, man, nah.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. And as
Yeah,
we see more people moving down here and discovering what we've been enjoying for
a
years,
100%. Well,
now,
they
yeah.
can come. They come down here to complain. So we didn't ask you to come down here.
That's so
so,
true.
so
Yeah.
if it was so great, go back to your culture in the cold.
We got this down.
Yeah,
Like,
we're good.
leave us alone.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're
Yeah.
good. But if you want to talk to you, we'll talk to you. All right,
Right.
that's fine.
Yeah. Start by reading the book.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And like I think this isn't directive. This is informational. This is,
Mhm.
I feel like, and there's a few points in there where I'm just like, look,
Yeah.
here's the information. You know, think about yourself and as it relates to you, and what do you think about it? How
Right.
does it, you know, connect with you, and then
Yeah.
move forward, and go from there.
So when I saw the title, so Motivation in You, the book everyone should read, and I saw the cover that you chose, I thought this was gonna be like and I mentioned this to you already, a you can do it,
Yeah.
like let's build you up type of book.
Ah,
And I was pleasantly surprised to say that is not what it is.
yeah.
You really dive into the psychology of motivating not just someone, but ourselves.
I
How do
think,
you do that for yourself?
I
And I think
think,
that was my biggest takeaway from your book.
well, for me, I think, and I've told my football players, throughout the years. So this is like this is a lot of like football and just a lot of like what my daily life was.
Right.
Um, when I get tired of that hurrah hurrah, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think
It
that's
doesn't last.
it does not like
Yeah.
what is motivation? Motivation is motive, and motive is an inner ideal that's driving you forward. So like we used to do, all of my football players, we'd have sign in at 7:07, and I used to do it in the new cafeteria because I wanted the regular student body to kind of hear what was being said. And
That's smart.
um, so we'll have those motivational talks and things, but it it's not enough to always have to go to someone else to get yourself in state,
Hmm.
because what happens when they don't show up?
Yeah.
You're always with you.
Right.
So what I do to motivate myself is I try and always be open and realistic. Right. I try and lean into my bad moments. Like I said, like when I wake up and I don't feel like working out, that's when I tell them, burn the boats. Come on,
No going
what
back.
can you do? Yeah, that's when I really challenge myself, because when you're in those moments and you go above your weak mentality, your lie, limiting that idea, exercise, that's when it's like at the end of it, it's like, like, oh man, and that's so
Yeah.
I have I'm a routine guy, so get up, work
Hmm.
out, read, meditate, have a little connection, and then start getting ready for work. And
Right.
then as I'm getting ready for work, when I'm leaving, it's like I'm like, my goal today is to lay my head on the pillow at the end of the night and be like, damn, I went hard, and
Yeah. I had
I'm
a
not,
good day.
yeah, I'm not going
Yeah.
to be successful every day. I am going to be challenged. I want that challenge every day,
Right.
because that's the only way that you can attain positive motivation,
Hmm.
is when you see yourself moving towards a goal, right? So
For sure.
you can um you can go through the same experience, the same stress, and if you look at that stressful situation as a stress that you willingly accepted, that you willingly move forward to, dopamine comes into your system. If you look at it as something that's happening to me, and I didn't want this to happen,
Yeah.
I think it's I forgot what the hormone is called, but it's the stress hormone. So just the way in which you look at something, how you attack it and address it, changes your motivational state. And then I try and I'm really, really spending more time in listening to my body, right? So getting into this workout phase. If I'm tired, then my body's tired. Like, it's not an excuse, but
Hmm.
like, we change the workout up where we just go for a walk, you
Right.
know. But that workout time is always the work.
It's
It's always workout
fulfilled.
time, right?
Yeah.
That habit is always. But now if it's not, listening to Goggins in here saying "Merry Christmas, motherfucker" and all this other stuff, and really going hard at it, um, it's just finding that peace, and then also understanding that we're in a sphere,
Right.
right? And we're at the center of a sphere, and there's water inside, and it's hot and cold, and there are going to be uncomfortable situations, so just being real, being
Yeah.
real. I think that's my my number one word of advice for anybody. You know, be honest and real. You know, you can't see past the problems you're not willing to face. So but it's the story of the knights and the round table, right? The King Arthur and the knights at the round table. They were trying to trying to find the Holy Grail, and what they had to do is they had to enter the forest where it was darkest to them. And what that concept is the things that you need to find most, right? It's well, everybody knows it, right? Who entertains the king?
It's the jester,
the jester,
the fool,
the fool, right? Well, how does the king become the king? Well, he has to slay the dragon, right? He has to go into the unknown. A dragon is the representation of the unknown, right? So, right, with that takes courage, right? And then 1,000,000 people went off in that direction, and they didn't come back. So it's like, no, don't go, you fool.
Yeah.
Right? The hero leaves a fool, but then he comes back with the gold, with the princess, and with the dragon's head, and now he's the dragon. I mean, now he's the king.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of courage. There's a certain amount of love, like for yourself, and then there's a certain amount of discipline. Right? Do the things you know you should, and don't do things you know you shouldn't. Love, sacrifice for yourself. What do you want for the person in 6 months or a year? And encourage. Have the ability to look in the mirror and bite down, not only on the good moments, on the bad.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, because those shape you probably more than the good ones.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But, it's not your first set of squat at just the bar that gets. No, it's when you add some weight on there. But the first set has its utility as well in warming you up. So, so those are my things, and that's what's been my thing. Is like it's the second book, Courage, Love, Discipline. That foundational aspect for me is it's strong. It's powerful, and I think it's going to be powerful for people as well. But
I agree.
I'm not putting that out till March. I want people to get this information.
Right.
Here.
Let's focus on this first baby first.
Yeah.
And as of now, it's available on Amazon.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So we'll have that linked. And as it becomes available in other places, we'll add that too.
Okay.
Definitely. But thank you so much for being here.
I'm so
appreciative that you're here sharing your work. And I look forward to having you back for number 2, number
definitely.
3.
Yeah. And after 3, I'm not. I don't know.
We'll see. Never say never. Never say never.